Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast series of HCLTech Aerospace and Defense Practice. Myself, Anshul Sharma, Industry Principal for Aerospace and Defense. And today I have with me Colin Breakwell, who is the Associate Vice President in HCLTech SAP Practice and Global Head of Product Development for iMRO, which is an SAP-based solution for complex asset maintenance. Colin has more than 25 years of experience and has worked closely with many global airlines as well as aerospace and defense companies to solve the challenges of implementing SAP based solutions for complex asset maintenance. So, welcome, Colin, to the podcast, and great to have you here.
Perfect. Thank you. It's great to be here today.
Great. So, Colin, despite the several challenges posed by the pandemic over the last couple of years, the maintenance, repair, and overhaul industry has seen a remarkable recovery in 2023. Perhaps a higher single digit to close double digit increase compared to the previous year. So, with this increased demand for air travel and fleet expansion, we are seeing that MRO companies are now focusing especially on digitalization and optimizing their maintenance workflows through adoption of new technologies like artificial intelligence as well as augmented reality and specifically automating most of their processes. So, amidst this positive outlook as well, while we are a lot of MRO companies are positive on the sector, but specifically from a business point of view, we are seeing that many MRO businesses are still struggling and waiting to see these gains reflected in their bottom line. So, what according to you is the reason for the same? Maybe could you share some of those insights?
Yeah, obviously these are complex issues to discuss, but I think overall in asset maintenance and things, assets have become far more complex over the years. Whether you are an airline or a defense organization or a mining business or a factory, assets that you operate are far more complex, and more complex assets require new approaches to maintenance. And perhaps businesses have struggled to adapt to the challenges that the new generation of assets are bringing, and the pressure that creates on their business models. Now, for some businesses, still, maintenance is seen as a cost. You're maintaining things to enable you to operate them, or to operate your factory, or to fly passengers. Other businesses, maintenance is the services they provide, and it's how they make their money. So those kind of different business models, perhaps have different challenges, but at the heart of that is probably the same set of themes around maintenance. And a lot of it is
Mhm.
not technology limitations. It's really how you bring together technologies and how you bring together processes into a more continuous kind of process, and build a kind of digital continuity and digital thread throughout your maintenance journey. And the maintenance journey is long. You start, for many businesses, if you're an airline, you're beginning to plan maintenance perhaps 10 years before you do it, and you're planning it that far out because of all of the constraints in kind of your operations, in the material supply, in the skills planning, facilities planning that you have. So starting processes perhaps 10 years before you execute them, all the way through to the requirements of detailed planning. You need strong systems and system continuity underneath that to bring together all those different threads, whether that's planning skills, planning parts, building facilities, digital execution, predicting when the maintenance is due. These are challenging things, and the more complex the assets, the more they need maintaining, the more complex the maintenance, the more difficult those things are. And obviously maintenance is so critical to those businesses. Disruption in the asset will either cause you not to fly passengers around the world, or not for your factory to stop operating, or if you're selling maintenance, for you to be subject to late delivery penalties, or not deliver the assets back to your customers on time, which is not a great way to drive business growth. So bringing together the maintenance processes in new ways, building more continuous digital thread throughout that long journey of maintenance, I think is perhaps really key to the next generation of benefits. Um, you know, Often maintenance is done in disparate systems. You've got planning tools, long-term planning tools, execution tools, supply chain tools. Really, the proposition is to try and bring that much more closely together in a more integrated way, providing you kind of next generation or next levels of insight, ensuring traceability throughout the journey, both kind of asset traceability, but also kind of data integrity and traceability throughout that maintenance journey, and moving away from kind of fragmented processes into fully integrated, traceable processes through that continuous digital thread.
Hmm. So, Colin, you mentioned about getting these different tools, planning tools together, and integration of these processes, through building of a digital thread. And I've been hearing a lot about A&D companies focusing around building this thread at an enterprise level, and not just focusing on individual functions, but specifically talking about the MRO function. What, according to you, are the common challenges A&D companies encounter across their maintenance, repair, and overall functions, which could be addressed by enablement of this digital thread? And
Yeah.
how would specifically a maintenance digital thread look like?
Yeah, it's a good question. Often digital thread and digital, continuity is talked about in manufacturing businesses. We're taking those concepts into, extending that digital thread really into the maintenance cycle. So that could be some of the things we've already discussed around perhaps, right up front, planning, long-term planning in the business. So thinking about what skills you need, what capacity you need, what facilities you're going to need in the long term. Building a new hangar takes a long time. Training up mechanics takes a long time. Having that forward visibility of all those things. And to get all that forward visibility, you really need to know what maintenance you're going to do and when. So defining your maintenance strategies, predicting when maintenance is due, using that knowledge to drive out your planning, whether that's facilities, as we said, or spares. Spares planning and optimizing your inventory right out in the long term is so critical. Parts, aircraft parts, but parts for modern assets are colossally expensive. You need to optimize, when you maintain and what spares you own. That combination of balance. You may need to maintain things early, but you can buy less inventory. You may buy more inventory to push out maintenance. These are the balances in your kind of longer term and medium term plan. And then integrating that down through the next layers, medium term planning, getting into the detail, driving procurement, driving your logistics processes, financial planning, having really accurate, clear views of how much maintenance is going to cost in all of those timelines, testing yourself against that and monitoring profitability or cost performance against budget, looking at kind of the health of your assets and using that to kind of influence all those things we've just talked about. So are they performing?
Yeah.
Are the rogue units? Do you have the right maintenance in place, and testing your maintenance against how effective it is? And they're all playing with each other. They're all driving different activities. So you can look at them in isolation and they're all effective in isolation. But when you try to bring all that data together, you're able to drive additional benefits. You're able to better optimize your plan. You're better able to address issues early and have the right things in place. So really that digital thread is everything from defining your maintenance strategies and approaches, when maintenance needs to happen, how often, how you're going to do it, the required critical materials and perhaps big skills that you need and facilities, all the way through to executing it, recording what you've done, knowing how many hours you spent, what materials you used, testing that against what you planned, making sure that all of that is reportable at every level and is used to improve. It's not just about data, it's about how you're using that to drive improvement in the processes and improve your planning, improve your stock holdings, improve your cost planning.
Hmm.
So having that in a digital thread, being able to slice and dice that in different ways, being able to look at it in innovative ways to drive benefit is very critical to that journey of improving your asset performance. Um, you know, when you're selling maintenance, obviously it's even more critical that you've got your cost planning right. You're quoting accurately. You're able to perform against your contractual obligations, monitoring those things. Modern maintenance contracts are very complex. They can be very long term. Making sure you're performing, you've got the right improvements in place, you're able to deliver the assets to the customer at the contracted price and time, but you're delivering profitability and margin to your own business are so critical and require really good data, really well organized data, joined together, enabling you to really drive out those kind of benefits and optimizations.
Mhm. So, Colin, coming to the actual, let's say, implementation or enablement of this digital thread, how can maintenance, repair, and overhaul companies or the aftermarket divisions of OEMs engaged in MRO enable this digital thread to achieve this kind of MRO excellence and make it more cost effective? Are there any existing digital platforms available, or what kind of solutions HCLTech has built for these divisions or MRO companies, and can which can help them to kind of achieve this digital thread excellence?
And I think that's a good question. And as we've seen, the kind of digital thread here is not just contained into maintenance process. We're talking about maintenance processes integrated into the kind of wider enterprise processes that you have. So,
Yeah.
so we've kind of developed solutions around using the SAP ERP platform to provide all your enterprise processes, finance, supply chain, procurement, and all those things. And inside that platform, building out solutions for all of the needs of complex maintenance processes. So the HCLTech iMRO 4 solution embeds itself inside SAP ERP,
Mhm.
natively integrating kind of highly complex maintenance that we've described with all of those kind of enterprise processes, enabling you to kind of fully optimize and integrate everything from your maintenance planning. But because it's inside ERP, you've got cost planning, you've got material planning integrated all the way through all your execution processes. And you've got the power of that kind of ERP platform with the power of a kind of really the best in class complex maintenance solution natively integrated together.
Okay. And specifically talking about the solution which we have, iMRO. So how is iMRO different from other MRO solutions or software applications available in the market? And what is the value proposition it provides to A&D customers? And specifically, if you could also highlight, in addition to asset maintenance or maintenance planning kind of modules, what other features iMRO has?
Yeah, I think the things we've talked about, are its key differentiation. So its ability to kind of have world class or kind of best in breed maintenance processes optimized for different kind of maintenance activities, engineering, maintenance engineering, production engineering, planning,
Mhm.
execution, all of the rigor of maintaining highly complex assets, natively integrated with your financial planning, with your supply chain planning, with your procurement processes, with logistics, with sales and billing and quoting. Bringing all that together into a single data set, sharing common data is probably the unique thing. iMRO is SAP's only certified add-on solution for complex asset. We're partnered
Mhm.
with SAP to bring that to market. It has that unique positioning. Now, iMRO for itself is a collection of different products. The iMRO Digital Core, perhaps providing a bulk of our kind of classical transactions. Then we've got specialist products on kind of maintenance insights, maintenance planning, customer engagement, forecasting, maintenance requests. So we've got a collection of modern products providing kind of specialist capabilities. Um, and we're using that to drive different kinds of benefits. So if you think about defining maintenance engineering, we're trying to provide a fully integrated tool set to enable users to define what assets need to be maintained, when they need to be maintained, and how you're going to do that maintenance in one environment, driving everything in that kind of master data area of maintenance and creating all of the things you need for planning and execution.
Mhm.
Planning, providing tools that support everything from your kind of 10-year forecasts and plans all the way down to what do I need to do tomorrow? What skills do I need? What are my shortages? So everything fully integrated in one data set. Maintenance execution is really where the work is done. Providing maintenance technicians digital tools that they need to use on the shop floor to see what they need to do, to record what they've done, and update the system in real time, driving insights and intelligence into, am I on time? What's falling behind? Do I need to intervene to solve problems? Maintenance of complex assets involves hundreds or thousands of different orders that need planning at any one time. Having that real-time visibility of what the problems are on the shop floor, where I might have problems tomorrow. So that kind of insight prediction that says it's all okay, but we're falling a bit behind. We're not going to have the parts we need next week. Intervening early, driving kind of activities that mean you can deliver on time successfully is all about your kind of execution tools. Material shortage, material availability is a key challenge in maintenance. You can't maintain assets unless you have the right spare parts and the right replacement materials. So having all of that material shortage and material allocation tools is also really, really critical. And I think the last bit of that kind of benefit area and the kind of tools, if you're selling maintenance, and maintenance is your business, having the right tools to be able to price and quote and bill maintenance in real time has huge improvements in your business. Quote accuracy enables different business models, fixed pricing, catalog pricing, on-time billing, quick billing improves cash flow in the business. So having all of those kind of customer engagement tools fully integrated to the real-time maintenance processes and planning processes, hugely kind of influential and powerful in the maintenance solution.
Mhm. Thanks, Colin, for highlighting some of those challenges as well as benefits in terms of maintenance processes. So, based on your discussions with some of our aerospace and defense customers or MRO service providers, what kind of feedback you have received in terms of the companies who have implemented our iMRO solution? So, what kind of benefits they have realized, or what kind of cost savings they have realized after using this solution specifically?
Yeah, I think the feedback is always that is always very positive on iMRO. They see these kind of benefits that we're talking about, that ability to deliver what are very complex processes inside SAP without having to build lots of custom development, without having to really add lots of external capabilities in is a huge benefit. That kind of real time material planning and cost visibility clearly is driving more efficiency in their processes. So on time delivery, early billing, efficiency on the
Mhm.
shop floor, real time data input. They're all the benefits that you're able to kind of derive from the solution. So it's always great to talk to our customers and get good positive
Okay.
feedback on the solution.
And from an implementation perspective, Colin, what are the deployment options available for customers for this iMRO solution? Would it be required to move to S4 HANA, or even the customers who are still using ECC platform, can they still implement iMRO? And usually, what is the typical timeline and cost for its implementation?
Um, so obviously to gain the best benefits from the solution, you need to be on the SAP S4 HANA platform.
Mhm.
But we still have customers implementing on SAP ECC. We still sell software on that is compatible with SAP ECC. So that's not the barrier. You can start your journey on SAP ECC and then migrate your iMRO solutions to S4HANA. That's one journey. You can start greenfield, brand new solutions on S4HANA, or as part of your kind of perhaps a migration from ECC to S4HANA, you can embed iMRO in that migration journey to help you kind of get back to standard, enable a clean core, remove perhaps a load of legacy kind of either developments, or bring into the SAP solution other systems that you perhaps have in your landscape and simplify your overall landscape. So it's very flexible to implement, whether you're brownfield migrating, whether you're greenfield implementing S4, or whether you're staying on ECC for a while and want to improve maintenance. We've got
Yeah.
implementation options across all of that. The iMRO solution is also designed to be flexible in the way it's implemented. So you don't have to implement it all end to end. It is modular. You can implement elements of it that are relevant to your business challenges and overlay it to perhaps existing solutions. So really benefit-led kind of implementations. Timeline, is difficult. It does very much depend on the journey. SAP projects tend to take a certain time. iMRO is not the driver. If you're implementing Greenfield S4, that has a certain kind of timeline for a business based on all of the wide range of functionality you're probably implementing. iMRO fits within that timeline. It's not the driver of project durations. And obviously the cost is very much dependent on the scope and the size of the business. So it's a bit hard to comment on cost, but projects typically, maybe 9 months upwards would be a typical, an S4 Greenfield implementation kind of timeline.
Well, thanks, Colin, for providing those wonderful insights around the MRO function and specifically our iMRO solution for A&D customers. It was very interesting and great speaking with you. Thanks a lot for your insights.
No problem at all. Thank you very much. Thanks for the great questions.
Great. And we'll see you all in our next podcast. Thank you, everyone.